What's going on, boys and girls, and welcome to my latest video. In today's video I'm going to teach you how to build a modern day computer with all the components that a regular PC gamer needs. So here I am with my latest project. This is going to be my newest computer. So this is gonna be a pretty cool upgrade since my last computer. So here you can see all my components that are still separate from each other. There you can see my little Nintendo 64 collection there, but that's gonna be for another video. So here you can see all my components that I'm gonna use, and we're gonna see each component by each installation that it requires, so you can build a gaming computer from zero. So first I'm going to show you the PC case that I'm going to use. Here we got little Corsair PC case. It already includes the cooler inside. I'm gonna show you what kind of cooler it has. It has a 12 centimeter by 12 centimeter cooler, probably with blue LEDs. I don't know because I haven't yet powered that up. But here you can see the cooler here. There you got an extra space for another cooler, and here you got like a space for two coolers, which I'm gonna use for this probably this water cooler from EVGA. So here's the space. As you can see here, you have the space for the motherboard, and back here in the bottom you have space for your power supply. Here for your hard drives, probably in this box we have all the I don't remember the name in English, but all these things that go the screws, and that's pretty much it. So this is the case. It was very cheap. I mean, it wasn't the cheapest, but it was pretty cheap case. So yeah. Then we're gonna go with the power supply. As you may know, power supply nowadays is not such a big deal. You don't have to buy a great power supply with a lot of watts because it's unnecessary. Mainly, if you're gonna use just one video card like this, it's not very, if you buy a 1000 watts power supply, that's so overkill that it's just useless. So if you're going to use like two video cards and slide, well, that's a more comprehensible solution. But if you're going to use just one video card with a power supply, this power supply was 750, as you can see, 750 watts. That's more than enough. And make sure always to buy a good quality brand. In this case is Cooler Master, so that's gonna make do with the power supply. So here we got all the connections for the power supply. Then we're gonna go with the the RAM. Here for the RAM I got a couple of Viper RAM with 16 gigabytes, I believe. Yeah, 16 gigabytes each. So for two of them, obviously it's 32 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM. So that's for the RAM. We're gonna put the RAM here. Next, we got the hard drive. In this case, I'm gonna use two hard drives, solid state hard drives. I'm not gonna use an M2 hard drive because they got pretty nowadays in 2018. The space for M2 hard drives is very limited. You only have like 250 gigabytes, and they are so expensive. So here I got two hard drives. One Samsung. This one is 500 gigabytes. This is probably gonna be the one hosting the operating system. By the way, I'm gonna install Windows 8.1 because it's the only version of Windows that I like. Windows 10 I really hate it. I think it's a piece of shit. And here I'm gonna use this drive, which is Western Digital 1 terabyte. It's gonna be the one I'm gonna use to save all the games and all the data. It's 1 terabyte of extra fun. So that's for the hard drives. Then for the processor that I'm gonna use, it's gonna be an Intel Core i7. It's 8700K. So this is a pretty cool, a pretty new processor, pretty powerful, and I'm gonna be cooling this piece of shit with that cooling system I'm gonna show you in a minute. So this is gonna be the processor that I want to use in this computer. Before showing you guys the video card, I'm gonna show you the sound card that I'm gonna install. I know it's pretty useless now. You know, with the built-in audio hard drive that comes with the motherboard, is almost useless. But you know, for an enthusiast gamer build, I think it's a pretty cool detail and a nice option to have this. This is a sound video card at Asus. I don't remember very well the model. I think it's a SteerSour. So yeah, basically this is a sound video card, a sound card. Here you can see all the inputs. So yeah, this is gonna be just a nice detail for the computer to add. Now for the graphics card, it's just the regular NVIDIA GeForce 1080. Here you can see this is the same video card that I had in my previous computer. So this is the only component that I'm not upgrading, because you know the only viable option to upgrade from this video card was obviously buy a 1080 Ti video card. But I think that's pretty useless, because you know the difference is not gonna be too much, especially with nowadays games. With this processor and this RAM and this video card, I think it's gonna be more than enough to run whatever game I want. So I don't think it's very intelligent to buy a 1080 Ti just for a couple more frame rates, which I'm not gonna notice anyway. So yeah, basically this is the one. Probably if by the time I was buying this stuff, the you know, a new car, maybe a 1090 or 2000s, who knows, video card was out, probably would have got this or got that. But you know, the only option right now, just right today, it's the best one, better than this one in the world, is 1080 Ti. So this is a cool video card. It's still very usable today, so I think it's pretty cool. And as you can see, it's almost brand new. I didn't even remove the plastic, so it's in perfect condition. Then we got a sticker that came with the sound card here. I don't know where I'm gonna put it, probably in the case. Then we got a driver for the sound card that's probably gonna be useless, because the drivers are probably gonna be auto downloaded. And next we got the motherboard here. I'm gonna show you guys the motherboard that I got. It's an Aorus, you know, from the Gigabyte brand, C370 Gaming 7. So this is a pretty kick-ass motherboard actually. I'm gonna show you guys how it looks. It's brand new. I just didn't open yet. So I'm gonna pause the video and continue with the motherboard itself. So here we are back. This is the motherboard itself. We got all the slots. As you can see, they're all with the most modern components available. It's a pretty nice motherboard. It's pretty rock and roll looking. As I watch in you know, in other videos that made reviews about this motherboard, when you open up the motherboard, when you power it up, there are a lot of RGB lights and LEDs and stuff like that make it look very psychedelic. Here you can see all the inputs. So yeah, it's a pretty rock and roll motherboard actually. So that's for the motherboard. I'm gonna just leave it here. Hope not to break anything. And last but not least, we got the cooling systems that I'm gonna use for the computer itself. So as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, the computer case here already has you know, fan, probably with blue LEDs. I would be surprised if it wasn't blue, because you know 90% of computer cases come with blue LEDs. Then I personally bought separate this cooler from Cooler Master. Um, it's gonna be a nice accessory to make the airflow more efficiently. Maybe probably it's gonna be useless, but it will make it look cooler. It also has blue LEDs, so it's something. And finally, we got the cooling system for the processor itself. This is a very good quality EVGA water cooling system. Here we got the radiator, and here we got the stuff that goes onto the CPU, that it's making contact with the CPU itself, with the processor. So now I'm gonna pause the video, and we're gonna continue with the assembly and all that stuff. So first things first, the first thing that you're gonna do when building a computer is obviously having all the components, separated very tidy as I have here, and you're gonna make things step by step. The first thing you want to do is obviously make sure you recognize all the space in your PC case. You want to put it in in horizontal to start assembling all the things. All right, guys, so now once you have the PC case in horizontal position, the first thing you want to do is just grab your power supply. This is the first thing that you're gonna install in the PC case, and later on the motherboard itself. So the first thing you're gonna grab is this power supply. In this case, the power supply is gonna go here, because you can see the big gap here, the big hole, and here is gonna be the hole for the for the inputs of your motherboard. So first, I already took out the screws that were here. We got a little bag full of screws and stuff from the PC case, and obviously you want to have some tools, some screwdrivers from all sizes and shapes, from our good old Black & Decker. So now we're gonna install the power supply. The power supply installation is very easy. You just want to make sure, as you can see here, we got all the holes for the cooler of your power supply. So that's gonna be this. So we're gonna always install this motherfucker facing down, just like this. You're gonna grab this with the cooler facing down and put it like so. So on the other side of the power supply, we're gonna see something like this, just like that. And this is the cooler, and that's gonna be it for the power supply. So once you put the power supply correctly here and make fit, you're gonna take your screws from your power supply and make sure to grab it and put them right in the place here, here, and here in the four corners. So let's do that. I'm gonna pause the video and I'm gonna do that just now. I'm gonna show you how it looks. Right, so now we got the power supply connected properly. As you can see, the four screws are firmly attached, and the power supply is very firmly connected with the PC case. So now, as you can see, everything looks pretty tidy. Just make sure to make it all to put all the cables from here, from the side, so you can have a good space here to maneuver your motherboard inside here. So next thing, if you have especially if you have a water cooling system, before putting the motherboard, you'll have to connect the cooling system inside your motherboard first, and later on you're gonna just attach it to the PC case. If you have an air cooling system, then you will have to put the motherboard first. But that's not the case, obviously. We are using a water cooling system. So first we're gonna go and install the processor inside the motherboard. Later on we're gonna install the water cooler with the motherboard. So let's go. Let's put the processor now. Alright, so here we are again. As you can see, we have the motherboard itself all alone. You can just take out your plastic here, the plastic protector. I just feel bad about it, about removing it, but what the hell, I'm gonna remove it anyways, because who knows, it could be hazardous for the, you know, high temperatures if you play games. So it's gonna be a shame in terms of collections, but you know, for collection issues, but you know, just to prevent overheating and stuff, just remove the plastic. So now we got the motherboard. We're gonna install the processor. So we're gonna go here with you know, the socket where the processor goes. Just make sure your motherboard is compatible with the connections of your processor. So we're gonna open up this by pulling this little metal bar to the side. It's gonna be, you're gonna have to make some pressure until it releases. Okay, so it's gonna be you know, the metal bar is gonna be up, and this little guy is gonna be here. So we're gonna have to remove this plastic, this black plastic guy here, like so. This crap you can throw to the garbage. And now we're gonna put the processor. Just make sure to locate this little metal arrow, this little golden arrow that we got here, and make it align with the processor, you know, processor slot itself. So basically, you will be able to notice some kind of mark here where it shows the little arrow. So it's probably this little mark that's showing that the golden arrow should be aligned with this gray arrow. So every motherboard is different, but every motherboard has some kind of mark just to orient where to put the processor. So let's gonna just put it there with no pressure at all. That's not needed. And once you just apply the processor, we're gonna just put the lead over, you know, again in the bottom position. And now we're gonna just apply this bad boy inside with a little pressure and just put it there. So now the processor is installed. Now we need the system to make the processor stay cool while we game or while we watch porn. So we're gonna now grab the coolant solution there, and we're gonna go and try to install it here. So let's go. Alright guys, so once you have your cooler here, obviously I'm gonna be using this along with the manual because I don't want to miss anything. So first, these are all the screws and little metal parts are gonna come included with your cooler, and this is gonna be the manual, and this is obviously the motherboard. So first you're gonna identify which motherboard connection you have for the processor. In my case, it's 1151. So the cooler is gonna come with two bags. One bag containing this, another bag containing all this crap. So basically, this bag says AM4, which is not the one we're using because we're using an Intel chip. So this is not gonna be used. This is gonna be, you know, this is gonna be no good for us. So we're gonna just discard it. Just go to the bathroom, throw it in the toilet, and fuck it. So there was a joke actually. So here you're gonna mess up your bathroom. So here we got the essential parts that we're gonna need for our installation. First you're gonna take these, and as the manual says, here you can change the, you know, the different size. You know, you can just move these corners from up or down depending on which socket you have. If you have an LGA 1366, you want to move it upwards, like there, plam. But if you have a 1150, 1151 as me, we're gonna put it like that, like so. You know, all the little pins in the inside position. So now you have this plastic. We're gonna go and turn around this motherboard and insert this. Alright, so we're gonna have something like this. Once you put the plastic in the back of the motherboard, you will end up having this in front of the motherboard. you will see a couple of holes here kind of sticking out from the corners. As you can see, this one is not sticking out properly, so I'm gonna make some extra pressure. There you go. Oh fuck, you know, gravity sucks. I'm gonna put it again. Okie dokie, so here you can see all the 4 connectors sticking out as they should. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Now let's gonna go to the other face. Okay, so now after putting the back plate plastic here, we're gonna pick, and we're gonna make sure that you pick the correct size of screw here. You're gonna go and see which thread you actually need. In my case, as you remember, is 1151. So this is the correct one to use. Just don't fuck that up. So once you selected your correct kind of thread here, you're gonna go and use the 4 of them to screw them right into these little salient things. And once you install them, you're gonna put right up the cooler itself. So let's screw this. Okay, now let's take the other one. Damn. Okay, let's screw it real tight. Okay, so now we're gonna go for the other one, the other 2. And we're gonna go with the last one here in the little corner. Okay, that's pretty much it. Alright, so now for a little side note, if you have these in your screwdriver kit, it's probably more recommended because you will be able to make a little more force and adjust it a little bit more tight or tighter. So like that. I'm gonna make sure everything is firmly screwed. You don't want to break this, so once you see the resistance is there, you don't want to overforce it, obviously. There you go. There you go. And for this guy, there you go. So now all 4 of them should be very, very tight and firm. So now let's continue with the other face. Alright guys, so now next step, before connecting this, I highly suggest you, it's gonna be more comfortable after that, because if you just install the processor with the cooler, it's gonna be a mess to put it inside your PC case. So now that you have your backplate installed and all the screws installed there, now we're gonna just place the motherboard inside your PC case, and after that we're gonna see where the cooler is gonna fit better, which I already have a general idea where I'm gonna put it. So once you put the motherboard inside here, I'm probably gonna put this cooler like here. So we're gonna just place the motherboard. So take your motherboard, put it here, and once you see that it fits right, you should like notice it with a little click or something. Once the little holes from the corners, you know, from here, just align. So let's see if we can do it with one hand, and there you go. So now you just take your motherboard, and as you can see, it doesn't move. So also that depends on your PC case. But in this case, if you put it in the correct position, the motherboard is not going to move. So we are secured. Now, the next thing that you must do is just screw all the little holes with the corresponding screws that came with your motherboard. So in my case, all those screws are here. So you're gonna take the little screws that comes with the motherboard or the PC case, I mean, and we're gonna just put them in all the little holes, so to make your you know, the motherboard secure. So now we're gonna do that. We're gonna put all the screws. Alright guys, so once you install your screws, you can see that I already installed that screw, that screw. That screw I didn't because it's a very hard place to reach, and also you won't be able to see it, but we have a couple of cables here, so that's not due. Then we're gonna go and put this screw here, a little screw here, a little screw in the bottom there, a little screw here, and a little screw there. So once you put all the screws, obviously the motherboard is gonna be very firmly attached. So now, before putting finally the cooler here, we're gonna do a couple of things first. We're gonna go and grab your front case. You know, the PC case is like that. All PC cases in the bottom. In the bottom of the PC case, you will see a little handler here. You're gonna just grab it like so and push really hard. Don't worry, it's not gonna break. So, well, if your PC case is a piece of shit and in very bad quality, maybe yes. But if it's a good quality, just pull very confident, and it's gonna come out just like that. So now it's gonna expose a little compartment where the coolers are gonna be installed, because you can't put the cooler here. So I mean, you can put it here like so. You're gonna grab it. Where the fuck did I put that cooler? Here. So we're gonna grab the cooler. You can theoretically put it there like that, but you always be forced to just remove this case, because you won't be able to just screw them. So we're gonna go and make sure, you know, the coolers have these and this side. Make sure the logo side here, it's facing inwards. So just like this one, that the logo is facing like this and the concave part is facing inside. Just mimic that and put it like so inside here, and we're gonna put the screws like that. So the basic principle is gonna be that the airflow is gonna be like this. It's gonna suck the air from the outside. The air is gonna cool all the motherboard and all the components, and finally the cooler from the processor cooler system is gonna take the air just outside. So the basic principle of the air is gonna be like this, like that. If you, in the future, if you put extra coolers here, I think it's gonna be completely a waste of time and completely unnecessary, because it's not gonna change your overall performance. But if you one day decide to add some extra coolers here, just make sure that the air is gonna go out like that. Always make sure that you have a very nice you know, circuit of air, mainly getting air inside and you know, expulsing the air outside. So if you put a cooler there, you're gonna make it so that the air goes like that, not like this, but like that. So if you put a cooler there, your cooler should be like this, I think, so in the other way around, so it sucks the air from inside and put it outside. At least that would be my solution. But here, just make sure to put it like so, so it sucks air from the outside and put it inside. So now we're gonna just screw this cooler inside here, and we're gonna see what we're gonna do next. Alrighty guys, so now you should have your cooler already screwed with the 4 little screws that comes with the cooler in your PC case like that. And you should, in my case, I put this extra cooler here, and it's already attached with, you know, with the long screws that came with the PC case. So these 2 coolers are stable. Now for the next phase, we gonna plug this processor, the cooler on the processor. So now you want to go and take out the little plastic cover that comes with these. Okay, that was not healthy for the computer. So now that it's free of the plastic, you're gonna make sure to align the holes of these little metal plate with the 4 screws that are facing up. So once you align those 4 screws, we're gonna just secure them with these 4 little knobs that come with also with a cooler. So let's do that and let's see how it looks. Alright, fine. So now we got the little cooler processor plate connected and already very firm with the screws in 4 of the sides, in the 4 of the corners. So as you can see there, so now it's just very firm, it's rock solid. So now next thing, before finishing with this motherfucker, which is the most difficult thing about assembling a computer, in my opinion, is just connecting the power. So in this case, in one of those, it says to motherboard. So this one is going to be plugged inside the motherboard, and these two, they read 2 fans. So we're gonna connect these two that said 2 fans with our 2 fans here, with the fans connector that we got here, and the other one is right here. So we're gonna connect those 2, and we're gonna go and connect these to motherboard inside the motherboard. So let's go. Okay, so now we got the cables connected. Here you can see both the fans are connected with the cable, and the one with that says to the motherboard is already connected right there. Just make sure that it reads on your motherboard that it says CPU fan. In this case, in this motherboard, we have 2 connectors for CPU fans. One says CPU fan and the other says CPU fan optional. So that's basically it. We got the motherboard installed with the processor and the coolers. So next phase would be to install, in my opinion, would be to install the power supply cables. So these you can do at last, but I recommend it now because we didn't even connect the RAM or the video card. So we have more extra space, and already now the space is really tight. So it's kind of difficult just now. Just imagine with all the components connected, it's going to be harder. So I actually suggest you to connect the power cables of the power supply inside the motherboard now. So let's do it. Let's connect as much as we can, and let's continue later. Also, another thing, not only you want to plug now most of the power supply cables, but also just grab your cables of your CPU case, the ones that are for the bottoms of the outside, for the power bottom, for the LED, for the for USB connections. So let's connect right now that. For example, the USB 3.0 connector is here. So you're gonna take these that comes with your PC case, and just make sure to have this little nut here, and we're gonna connect it here like like a Super Nintendo game. We just want to grab it, or like a Super Nintendo controller, I mean. Alright, it's taking longer than expected. Okay, just like that. Okay, you want to do the same with the cables here. I'm gonna show you right now with these cables. So this is probably the audio input connector. This is gonna be the reset switch, and the power switch is gonna be here as well. So we're gonna take these and try and connect them right there in these very color palette connectors. So if you don't know what you're doing actually, where to put these cables, just grab your motherboard manual and see where those go. So every manual of motherboards have the connectors probably in the bottom right. And probably the audio connector is going to be somewhere around here. So we're going to check it right now. And after I connect them, I'm going to show you where I put them. So let's see. Okay, so luckily for me, in the motherboard, it came this little adapter just to make connections easier. And as you can see, you have to identify which of the side is the positive. Probably the positive of the cable is gonna be, you know, every cable has two wires. One wire with some white letters, and the other wire completely black. So the one that has the white letters is the positive cable, and the black is the negative cable. So you have to follow that pattern and connect each one of the cables with a respective connections that it's going to tell you here, or if you have in the motherboard, just directly into there. It's going to be pretty difficult to identify, so I highly suggest you to use your manual as you along with as you go connecting the cables. So we are done with this. I'm gonna connect this, and after that I'm gonna connect the audio, and we're gonna be done with these cables. Alrighty, so we are done. I already connected all the power switch, the reset switch, the power LED, and also the hard drive LED, which is completely non-existent because I'm gonna use the whatever. So, and here we got the audio, which was right in here. So we are finished with the overall PC case cables. So now we're gonna install the power cables. Okay, so we are done powering up the motherboard. Here we installed this main power cable there. We installed this little 6 connector power cable out there. It was a pain because it was pretty difficult with this cooler installed, but in 5 seconds of maneuvering I was able to connect it. And so that's basically it. So now we're gonna go and grab our RAMs here. This is the easiest part of the assembly, actually. So we got these 2 RAMs. They were fornicating. So we got these 2 RAMs. The RAM installation is super simple. You just have to make sure which one of the 2 connectors is the largest and the smallest. So you have to identify here in the slots which one is one, and just make it feed just like you would just put a Super Nintendo game or a Famicom game or a Sega Genesis game. It's super simple. You just have to make it fit, and that's all. So in this case, the smaller one is this in the bottom. So we're gonna just put the smaller one in the bottom as well, and just connect it. I'm afraid it's not very visible in the video. Let's go. Let's see. Okay. Just like that. Just make sure to unlock both tabs from each side, and just make it fit and push until you hear a click in both sides. So while you're pushing the RAM, you should hear a click in both sides, and you will be done. Now we're gonna do it the same with the other one, just in the next one. So as you can see, it's very simple. There you go. So we have the RAM installed now. Next, we're gonna install both cards, the sound card and the video card. So we're gonna take this video card here. We're gonna install it, and after that, I'm gonna install the sound card. The video card is gonna go inside here. The PCI Express slots, which are these 3, and the sound card goes inside here. So you have to make sure to so that both cards don't crash between each other. So for example, if I put this in here, the video card, the sound card's probably gonna be here or here. It's not gonna be able to fit here because they could crash between each other. So that's basically the main idea. So just remember, before putting these cards to unscrew the little protectors here, so and take out these little metal plates, depending on which slot you're gonna use. I'm not a very big fan of these armor protectors from Dust. So as you can see, I never put them because I think they are just useless, and the amount of dust that they could protect you from getting inside is insignificant, because mainly all the dust comes from the fans, actually from the front fans. So this is not very important. It doesn't make any difference if you put the plate or not. So now we're gonna put the video card and later the sound card, and let's see how it fits. Alright guys, it's very hot in here, I'm sweating, so this is getting really hard to do. So yeah, basically I just took this little plate protector here, the two screws that were like holding it here and here. So once you remove these two, you can just take out this metal protector, and you have to take whatever metal protector here that you're gonna use. So in my case, I put the video card, and in the video card it uses two of these. So I have to remove the two of these, and I have to remove only one for the sound card in here. So once you just insert like any RAM, or it's like just insert it. Once you have inserted both cards, you'll have to manually screw one screw for each video card or sound card. So here you can see that this one in here and this one in here are holding these two cards together. So they are very firm and they don't move. This probably moves a little bit, but that's totally okay. Once you just plug both cards inside your motherboard, you have to feed them with power. So you're gonna have to take one of these cables and choose whatever cable fits, and probably for this one you have to got a connector with 8 inputs. So this one is fits perfectly well. So we're gonna just put it in here, we're gonna insert it like that, and here it only needs 6, so this one is also 6, so we're gonna just put in here as well. I'm afraid the cable is not long enough, but yeah, with little effort it just plugs. So we got both cards feeding with power and they're connected perfectly well. So now next thing is gonna be putting the hard drives, which are these two hard drives in here. You want to take whatever SATA cable you have. In my case, I have these two SATA cables. I really like these cables because they are very straight like that. Probably the motherboard is gonna come with a couple of SATA cables, but the ones that came with the motherboard I don't like. I'm gonna show you how they are. So yeah, this is the cable that came with the motherboard. So as you can see, it's not straight. It has the shape of an L, so it makes very uncomfortable to plug inside your motherboard. So I really prefer the other kind. So this is the one. These two cables are the ones that I'm gonna use. And also you have to you need power cables to power up your hard drives. Which in this case the hard drives are going to use these kind of connections. So this flat connector for one and another one for the other one. So I'm going to plug the hard drives. Also the hard drives need some special inputs inside the motherboard. So we're going to look for them. I don't see them. I'm afraid I'm going to have to look up in the manual where they are. Oh yeah. So they are in the side, because there are some motherboards that have the connectors facing up, but in this case it's gonna be a little more complicated because they are facing the other way around. So we're gonna plug the cables and see how it looks. Okay guys, so to install the hard drives in a very stable manner in your PC case, you should grab your holders here with these plastic holders that go right in here like so. So you're just gonna take it out, you're gonna put your hard drive, you're gonna align it with the holes here, and use these little screws to put everything in place. In my case, I only have 4 screws, so I chose just to use one here and one here to hold one hard drive. And I'm gonna use the other holder here. I'm gonna use the other one to do the same and use the other 2 here with this other hard drive. So once we have these 2 connected, I'm gonna put them inside here and put the connectors, the power cables and the data cables. So let's do it. Alrighty guys, so this is the final product. This is the final build of the computer. As you can see, the soundboard is completely well installed. The video card, the RAM, the motherboard, the cooler system, liquid cooler system for the CPU. Both fans are connected and both hard drives are connected, you know, with the data cable and the power cable. So all the other rest of power cables, I just put them right here because I had extra space for those. The power supply, I already put the front plate of the case here, and everything seems to be pretty solid. I hope everything works fine once I just power it up and test it. So yeah, the last things that just are aesthetics are the stickers, all those good things that I'm gonna put them right now in front. I'm gonna see which stickers are best. All these stickers came with the motherboard. Then it came with this little logo, this little shield, and also the soundboard came with this little sticker. So I'm gonna install everything up. I'm gonna make the final adjustments. Just put the case here, the cover here, and I'm gonna plug it into the computer. Install Windows 8.1 with all the updates, Steam, and all that good stuff. And once the computer is up and running, we're gonna finish the video showing you guys how the computer works. Everything should work just fine. So let's continue, and I'm gonna continue the video once I assembled it. So hello guys, and welcome back. Here in the last part of the video, I'm just showing you how the computer works. Everything finished. There you can see the computer. This is gonna be my main computer, and this other one is gonna be my secondary computer. But right now, I haven't even installed Windows in there yet, so my only functional computer is this one. Here you can see my sound setup with the speakers, on the left and right. My laser disc player. There in the left you can see my VHS player with my little CRT, television, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, and NES, each with the EverDrive, so to have all the collection of games in one single cartridge. There you can see Goku Black, and there you can see Sony Mavica, amazing digital camera from the early 2000s. So there you can see the computer is actually working and it's playing Dragon Ball FighterZ. Just for the sake of this video, I'm gonna play a little bit just to show you how well it works, even though this game actually it's not that graphical demanding, but it's always nice to see the final product running rather than just telling you guys that it ended up working but not showing you anything. So this is a little demonstration that I want to show you guys. I disabled the sound because otherwise the video would have been kind of annoying. And sorry, because in the video, in 90% of the video, I used that little filter to simulate VHS, but I thought it was cute and it was pretty, original, so I decided to use that kind of filter and effect for the whole video. So stay tuned for my next video, because I have a really nice idea on how to do the next video, what the content will be. I'm probably gonna give you guys a little pack, a very interesting pack of games, so stay tuned for the other video. It's gonna be amazing, especially if you like fighting games. And here's gonna be a little demonstration since this is my first video after my little vacations. If you don't know, I went to Tokyo and I got a lot of interesting things in Japan. So as you can see, I have in my collection, I added a lot of Dragon Ball theme figures and a lot of Gundam things. So yeah, basically this is my collection. It's upgraded because I bought a lot of things in Japan. As you may know, there you have a lot of things in terms of video games. So I took advantage of that and bought a lot of things, a lot of games and a lot of figures. So here's my Game Boy section. You can see it's upgraded compared to my latest, video demonstration of my collection. And there you can see some PC games in the back, PlayStations. This is the Goku and Vegeta fusions, Vegito and Gogeta. There you can see my rare consoles, computer games and stuff. Super Potato, just in a legendary store of Japan. And here you can see some Game Gear collection, Sega Dreamcast collection, Sega Nomad and all that good stuff. There you can see more Dragon Ball figures, some Gundam things. There you can see my Neo Geo collection, which I bought all these games, which are very, very expensive. Mark of the Wolves Giro, Skin of Fighters 2003, 2001, that I already had this one, so I bought this free, and this one I really love, which is, SNK versus Capcom. There you can see some video games, Atari Jaguar games, a lot of cool stuff, PC Engine games, Neo Geo Pocket games, and here you can see more computer games boxed. And basically my retro computer, this computer I just assemble it. It contains technology from the early 2000s, late 90s. So it's a pretty cool retro computer. So here is my Tamagotchi collection, which is kind of neat. There you can see more PC games. A lot of interesting stuff. Some Amiga CD32, Neo Geo AES, a Neo Geo CD, the Super Famicom Mini, the Famicom Mini, more PC games, and some VHS movies. All this Dragon Ball GT collection, with the exception of these two movies that I already had myself, was, lent by a friend of mine. So I gotta thank Felipe for a little collection of movies. That little game named Shadow Company, which is a very weird free strategy game simulating, games such as Commandos and stuff like. Here you can see my Famicom collection, my Sega Saturn collection, which is pretty nice, and I got a lot of nice stuff from the trip. So see you next time, guys, and hope you like this video, hope you learned something, hope you learn how to assemble a PC, and see you next time. Bye!